Hey everyone, Robert Ferringo with Doc Sports here with Nolan Patrick of Strike Point Sports talking a little NBA betting action. Be sure to check us out and you can find our picks at www.docsports.com. That's www.docsports.com. And as you can see from the banner above and in the link below, click on that, go to Doc Sports and claim your $60 worth of free picks in whatever sport you're into. So, Nolan, we are Wednesday. The NBA is back after its extended NBA All-Star break hiatus. Did you watch the All-Star game?
I did. I actually liked it. I like the whole get it all done in one day kind of thing. I was a fan.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay, so what are you thinking going into the second half of the season? All right, like basically, do you handicap the season as two indistinct entities or just as one overarching theme? And what I mean by that is, are there certain teams that you're looking at that maybe overperformed or overachieved in the first half that you're like, okay, they've had some time off, they've had some time to come back down to reality. Those are teams I'm looking to bet against. And conversely, are there some teams that maybe were playing possum in the first half that you expect to just turn it on for the second?
I do actually. I have, we all have our teams that we want to bet on and that we want to fade throughout the second half of the season. It's funny. I saw an article on ESPN and they compared the first half of the season to Avengers Infinity War. Thanos had everything in order to make the snap. And what did it cost him? Everything. The NBA lost over 30 games to COVID in the first half of the regular season. So I think you're going to see the second half almost completely different, to be honest. I've got a group of teams that I'm focusing on. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I'm really excited about the Suns in the second half of the season. We were on them early. They're a hungry team. They played well in the bubble. They had the second best against the spread mark in the first half of the season. They have Chris Paul, who's a great leader. We're all about teams that are going to get healthy. The Portland Trailblazers are going to get healthy. McCollum will come back. Nurkic will come back. We're interested to see the Indiana Pacers. Karis LeVert coming back from just, the cancer that he had in his kidney. He's going to come back. Are the Pacers going to get good? And we're looking at teams. I apologize. I'm looking at a team like the Hawks. They had a lot of guys that were out a lot in the first half of the season, and somebody really to focus on and remember this, the Miami Heat. We weren't high on them early. They finished the first half of the regular season 11-4. We really are excited about them in the second half of the season.
I thought you were going to drop some Knicks in there again, and I was like, you better not be still trying to sell me on the Knicks. Just enjoy the first half that you had. You hit on several of the teams that I was looking at as well. Portland, I'm very, very excited about. When they get at full strength, I think that they're going to be really undervalued for a while just because there's a lot of other big-name teams in the Western Conference. But pound for pound, when Portland's at 100%, they can beat anybody without question. Miami, another team, I think their momentum does carry into the second half. I think Boston will put it together. That group of guys has played together for a few years. I don't know what was going on with them before the All-Star break, but that's a team that I can see getting better the closer we get to the postseason. A team that I think is going to come back down to earth are the Hornets. I like what they've done. Fun team, young team, like what you're doing. You're not finishing in the top 8 in the Eastern Conference. As bad as the East is, I expect reality to hit them like a ton of bricks at a certain point. So, okay, we only have 2 games to talk about for Wednesday, and they're not very exciting, in the grand scheme of things. However, they do feature 4 kind of interesting teams. The first game is Washington at Memphis, and what we were just talking about, Washington was one of the hottest teams, somehow was one of the hottest teams in the NBA right before the All-Star break. They went 8-3 straight up, 9-2 against the spread. They're kind of the perfect test case for what we're talking about. Do you think that their momentum, do you think that they caught fire? Do you think they figured something out and that will carry over into the second half? Or is this a good spot to kind of bet against them because they got to start rolling that boulder back up the hill?
I hate this first matchup for Washington. I along with you, I really liked what Washington did at the end of the first half. Like you said, 9-2, they 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. But they get a Memphis team that similar to Washington, went 9-2 against the spread in their last 11 games in the first half of the season. And I do not like that matchup at all for Washington. I really don't. It's a small spread for the Grizz. We're all over the Grizz in this first game. And I do unfortunately see Washington struggling out of the gate. And Memphis on the other side, I think that they're going to find some success early on. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to weather the storm without Ja Morant when he had that little injury earlier. They clawed their way back to 500. And the main thing in this is also that they have dominated this series. They're 15-5 against the spread at home against Washington, and they're 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 meetings. This is not a familiar matchup or a familiar place to play for Washington. Okay, they only play here once a year. And I just don't think that they're going to be ready coming out of the break. And I definitely don't think that that momentum is going to sustain itself through this 7 days off. So the second game we're looking at is San Antonio at Dallas. We have Dallas as the -4.5 home favorite in this game. Here we have two teams that, compared to what we were expecting at the beginning of the year, San Antonio is one of those overachievers. Are they going to continue to overachieve? While I don't think anybody can be satisfied for what they saw out of Dallas. They were a team that had a lot of hype coming into the season because of what they were able to produce in the bubble. Haven't been very good against the spread. Haven't been very good in the standings either. What do you see in this early matchup?
This is actually a really disappointing matchup, to be honest. 3, 4, 5 years ago, how excited would you be about the Spurs and the Mavs getting together, especially coming out of the All-Star break? People are kind of fiending to want to watch some NBA basketball. And you're looking at two middle-of-the-road teams. I couldn't agree with you more that the Spurs, I think that they're going to drop down. There's rumblings out of San Antonio that DeMar DeRozan is not happy there. There's actually news that he could get traded. He signed his player option coming into this year, and that was all about money. It wasn't about wanting to be in San Antonio. That was all about $27 million. And now they're talking about how he could get traded. So it's a really interesting matchup. There's a very, very interesting trend when it comes to this game. And that the San Antonio Spurs are 6-2 against the spread in 8 games this season when they're an underdog of more than one possession. And I mean, not to mention the fact that they're 9-3 against the spread when they in their last 12 games when they have 3 or more days off. That takes me back, 4 or 5 years. We always talked about when the Spurs were rested, they were outstanding. And it seems like this Spurs team is the same. I'm going to be on the Spurs in this matchup. The Mavs have not shown me anything, and I like the Spurs as a dog, even though I'm going to fade them the second half of the year, not in this game.
See, I'm going to agree with you on the game, disagree on kind of long-term with the Spurs. That's the Popovich factor right there. That's why they're so good as an underdog. That's why they're so good with rest. They're 20-8 against the spread the last 28 games as a road underdog. He's just that good of a coach. He's one of the few, and I say that there's maybe 5 or 6 head coaches in the NBA that are actually worth something on the spread. I think San Antonio is going to continue to play well and continue to kind of fly under the radar. And you talk about DeRozan, I don't think they're going to trade him because I think that they kind of want to ride this out and see where this goes this year. Are they going to win an NBA championship or win the Western Conference? Absolutely not. But I don't see them waving the white flag on this season. And DeRozan's the type of guy that knows that if he wants that max deal, he wants that next big paycheck, he's going to have to perform like the top tier 1A guy that he wants to get paid like. So I think that there's definitely some value here. I think that the problem with Dallas is systemic. They lost some of their shooters, basically. And that's how they were built last year, was just let Luka do Luka things, everybody else spot up and hit threes. They just don't have the same caliber of shooters on the perimeter this year. And I don't think that that's something that's going to be fixed in the second half. So those are the 2 games for Wednesday. Did you see anything for Thursday? We got a full card on Thursday. Is there anything juicy that you're looking to take advantage of there?
There's 2 games on Thursday that we really like, and unfortunately for us and for everybody out there, we're waiting. We're waiting on pins and needles for 2 separate reasons. We're all about the Miami Heat and their matchup with Orlando, but Bam Adebayo was hurt coming into the All-Star break. I believe he had knee tendonitis. I think he's going to play, and if he does, we're all over the Heat. Don't care what the line is. I think the Heat roll. I think they make a statement in their first game, like we talked about, 11-4 going into the All-Star break. I think you're going to see them play well coming out of the break. So we're all about the Heat. However, we're waiting on Bam to see what's going to go on. And we're all about the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls are a really tough matchup. They play teams tough. They play really close games. They look good going into the All-Star break. They have a matchup with the Philadelphia 76ers on Thursday. It's in Chicago. Philly is not good on the road, but we're waiting on pins and needles because of COVID. Are Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons going to play? You saw them not play in the All-Star break. They're both questionable going into Thursday. If they play, hear me out here. If they play, we're all about the Chicago Bulls. All about them.
Because that number will be that much more inflated.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I can see it. Chicago puts a lot of pressure on teams because they can score. They can score, and they score relentlessly. And as an underdog, that does put some pressure on a team. All right, give me a free pick, whether it's from Wednesday, Thursday. I can't let you out of here without giving away something for free other than the $60 free towards your account that's on the link below. But give the people what they want.
So I'll give you one for both days. You can have one Wednesday. You can have one Thursday. We're in a good mood. We're excited about the NBA coming.
Yeah, you are in a good mood today. All right, what do you got?
We're in a good mood. You know what? It's because it's central New York. The sun was shining, and it was 47 degrees outside. Can you ask for anything better than that? We like the Memphis Grizzlies, small favorite over Washington tomorrow. We really like Memphis. We think that they win by 7-8 points there, and we're going to be on the Bulls. Whether Embiid and Simmons play or not, we like the Bulls to cover that line. If they both play, we see the Bulls being 4.5, 5.5 point underdog to the 76ers there. If they don't play, we see it being a lot closer to an even game, but we see the Bulls in that game. So we like Chicago on Thursday, and we like Memphis on Wednesday.
All right, folks, there you have it. He is Nolan Patrick of Strike Point Sports. I am Robert Ferringo. We are both of Doc Sports, www.docsports.com. Make sure you check back next Wednesday for more NBA analysis. In the meantime, carpe diem and good luck.